This is my audience.
Hello, my name is Bryn Short, and my topic is on the 4-day school week benefits. 4-day school weeks involve lengthening class instruction time to about 50 to 90 minutes in order for schools to continue to meet state requirements. The 4-day school week has had studies that have proven to show benefits towards students, teachers, and parents. On the student side, students' overall well-being is far better than the 5-day school week. They have better grades, better class attendance, and teachers are able to get better jobs, have more time, have a little bit more time off, and parents are having more time with their kids and not wasting as much of their gas money to take some of their kids to school if their kids can't drive or can't take the bus. I want to further go on about the 4-day school week versus the 5-day school week with a bit of my own experience with from going to a school that had a 5-day school week to a 4-day school week. I was homeschooled for 5 years from 3rd grade to mid 8th grade. I started going to public school at the end of 8th grade. At that school, it was near the end of 8th grade. I joined late February, shortly after my birthday. And I was not able to form a full opinion on the 5-day school week at that time because during that transitioning time, it was still hard for me and my family to get a good understanding of what all needs to happen. And I was a little bit ahead of my grade when I started public school. I was only at school for about 3 to 4 hours every day. So I was only at school half days, and there were very few days that I was at school full days. And like I said before, I was not able to form a solid opinion on the 5-day school week. But my school was still doing the 5-day school week when I started my freshman year of high school. This is when I started to gain a proper opinion on the 5-day school week. My freshman year, I was recruited to join color guard and marching band, which was an extracurricular activity that I had to be at school every day earlier than when school started. So I would be at school for longer than 8 hours. I would start practice maybe 1 to 2 hours earlier than school started. Because band was my first hour, I would still be practicing for the hour that my band class was going. I then had choir my second hour, so I would not get into the school until second hour. And that was a lot of stress and anxiety put onto me and my fellow peers. So that in itself was a big struggle, having to wake up a lot earlier than what I had to before. Public school, this was my first full year going full time. I was there 8 hours a day, sometimes even longer, because I would have to stay after school because my grades were not as good my freshman year. I had to stay after school with some teachers to help get my grades up and to get help with assignments because I did not know how to ask for help because I didn't know how to ask the teachers for help. I also did not have very good friends, and during my freshman year, I had developed pretty bad anxiety and depression. My overall well-being was just not good, and I hate to admit, but I was a kid during my freshman year that I fell asleep in some of my classes due to my exhaustion. And it was not just me that the 5-day school week was affecting, it was affecting my fellow peers, the teachers, and as well as some students' parents, my own including. The 5-day school week that we had going on that year was long, and we also had state testing. That in itself is also very difficult, going 5 days a week and having the state testing. We didn't really get a lot of time off. And there was a lot of time I didn't get to spend with my family nor any of my friends And like I said earlier, I did not have very many good friends, if any at all. It was a very difficult year for me and my family because it was still a big transition period for me. I had a lot of times that I came home crying due to the amount of stress that I had, and I had a lot of sleep lost due to how much schoolwork I had that freshman year. And I needed more help than some other students, which was not great either, because I felt like I was slower than the other students. But there were some beneficial points in that 5-day school week, was that it was a time and place where I learned from my mistakes that year. The 5-day school week that happened then was hard on everyone, teachers, parents, students. It was overall probably the hardest point for everyone, because we just ended our middle school year and now we were just starting high school. So it was very difficult for everyone. But my sophomore year, my school had made the decision to move from a 5-day school week to a 4-day school week. And it was by far the best decision that my school had made. The 4-day school week we would go to school Tuesday through Friday. We would have 3 days off of school, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We even sometimes had a 4-day school week. We had a 4-day school week for some days like parent-teacher conferences, or if we had any other special events, such as homecoming or prom. We had a 4-day school week. If we ever had a point where we needed to make up a school day that we lost, we used that Monday that we didn't have for school as a day to make up that point to still meet our state requirements. And for my personal experience with the 5-day school week, I will say that my grades were infinitely better. I got along. I have so many more friends that I feel like are my family, and that I would do absolutely anything for them. The 4-day school week at my school was phenomenal. My anxiety and depression has also gone down, and I had spent more time with my family and friends that I did not get to spend with them that year. And I was still going to school pretty early, but with that extra day that we would have off, I had more time to recover from the physical strain and the mental strain from school. I was able to get the help that I needed with my assignments, so it became very, very beneficial towards me and others. And if you were to ask anyone else at my school if they prefer the 5-day school week or the 4-day school week, I will guarantee that 100% of my school will say the 4-day school week. I would like to come to the conclusion that Nicole Guinamere states, in Iowa, the number of districts with 4-day school weeks triple in 1 year as of December 2024. With the 4-day school weeks increasing popularity across the country, I think it will be a matter of time until every single school starts doing the 4-day school week. And soon, I think the whole world will start doing the 4-day school week. My name is Bryn Short. Thank you for listening to my speech.